Public servants in Antigua and Barbuda. That's what Observing in Caribbean Newsline for Thursday, January 25. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Nicole Best. Good evening. Prime Minister Gaston Brown on Thursday announced a 5% interim pay increase for government workers as he delivered the 2018 budget, and the public servants will be getting that bigger payback at the end of this month. The increase is being offered since ongoing salary negotiations are not expected to be completed this year. Brown said when negotiations are completed, the 5% will be added to the negotiated amount. He also proposed to pay outstanding back pay to public officers who have been in the service since 2002. Along with the pay increase, public sector workers will receive housing grants and vehicle concessions. He said they have not been paid an increase in over a decade, and his administration is working towards raising the standard of living of residents.
Given that the negotiation process between the unions and the government's team will take some time, the government has declared to pay an interim increase of 5% of basic salary to public servants. And let me make the point here that this is not intended to prejudice the negotiations, nor is it an indication of the government's final offer as it relates to a wage increase. We will do more. Notwithstanding the challenges, we will do more, because our ultimate objective is to improve the living standards of our people.
Brown also announced that the economy grew by 4.4% annually between 2014 and 2017. He told the House that the per capita GDP per head grew from 36,000 EC dollars in 2013 to 45,000 last year. Brown says that translates to more money for spending and savings, as well as security for existing employment and the creation of new jobs. Caribbean countries are being urged to seriously tackle the issue of money laundering. The call comes from United States Ambassador to Guyana, Perry Holloway, who says regional governments must act now to ensure financial institutions are protected from criminal elements. Guyana's Attorney General Basil Williams agrees with Holloway's sentiments. He says financial crimes have the potential to undermine a country's stability and its reputation. Williams says steps must be taken to counter such activities. We get the details in this HGP Nightly News report.
Attorney General Basil Williams says there must be a collective effort locally and regionally to fight money laundering and financial crimes. The AG was addressing the opening of the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force facilitated assessors training seminar, which commenced in Guyana on Tuesday. The aim of the training is to equip participating countries with the tools and competencies to review the level of effectiveness of a country's anti-money laundering, countering the financing of terrorism regime.
We all must be fully committed to the fight against money laundering, terrorism financing, and proliferation financing. These illicit activities not only undermine the integrity of our financial systems, but threaten the political stability and damage the reputation of countries.
Williams reasoned that with the introduction of various modern telecommunications apparatus, financial services have become borderless, and therefore a holistic approach is needed to tackle the adverse spin-offs.
This means that a weak regulatory framework and infrastructure in one country can affect a neighboring country. Therefore, this area must continue to be a high priority for the CFATF region.
Mr. Williams said too that any crime that has the potential to damage a country's financial institutions must be tackled fiercely and on all fronts.
We must continue to push for timely implementation of policy and laws that will strengthen the region's ability to successfully combat money laundering, terrorist financing, and proliferation financing, and other related crimes that threaten the integrity of financial systems across our region and the world.
In a peer review, each CFATF member is reviewed by other members and provides legal, financial, and law enforcement experts that will lead to the report being adopted by the CFATF plenary. Therefore, Minister Williams underscored the importance of the assessors developing the techniques required for an objective and concise assessment, since another country's rating is dependent on this assessment.
The Caribbean Nitrogen Company has shut down its ammonia plant at the Point Lisas Industrial Estate in Trinidad and Tobago, leaving more than 100 people without jobs and indirectly affected more than 300 others. This after negotiations with the National Gas Company over the provision of gas to the facility broke down. Peter Christopher of CN News has more.
In a statement, CEO of Caribbean Nitrogen Company, Jerome Tukey, said, "We had no choice but to shut down the plant to ensure the well-being of our people and protect our investment. Unfortunately, this action by NGC will negatively affect the future of our 110 loyal workers." The statement added an estimated 300 additional workers indirectly connected to the operations may be affected. Mr. Tukey, however, criticized NGC's stance, stating, "CNC had even accepted multiple interim extensions of our gas supply until yesterday at a detrimental cost to itself. These extensions were implemented to facilitate further discussions between CNC and NGC to agree on the terms of a long-term gas supply contract. The NGC has, however, been unresponsive to many concessions CNC has made and unrealistic as to global forces affecting not only CNC's exports, but Trinidad's exports of ammonia, which must compete in the international marketplace." NGC confirmed in its own release on Thursday that the deal expired.
Trinidad and Tobago has moved closer to finalizing the terms and agreement with Venezuela surrounding gas supply between the two countries. The Office of the Prime Minister, in a release on Wednesday, said a meeting was held with officials from Venezuela and representatives from the Twin Island Republic to continue discussion on the cross-border gas supply from the South American nation. It said the discussions were fruitful and they are very close to signing a final agreement to develop gas in the area that straddle the two countries' maritime borders. That area has an estimated 10.25 trillion cubic feet of gas, of which roughly 74% belongs to Venezuela and the rest belongs to the Twin Island Republic. Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness says there's an attempt by certain elements to drive a wedge between the security forces involved in the state of emergency in the parish of St. James. Speaking at his quarterly media briefing on Wednesday, he said some of these elements are within the Jamaica Constabulary Force and the Jamaica Defence Force.
It would not be a surprise that some of the criminals are connected to some of the elements and they are using a mastermind strategy to undermine the unity of the forces. But I'm confident that the men and women of the Jamaica Constabulary Force and the Jamaica Defence Force can see through those attempts. I think that based on all accounts, the security forces so far to this point, I don't have any wood to knock on, but I'm knocking on wood, that they will continue.
Holness, who announced the state of emergency last Thursday, says government will be monitoring suspicious communications.
We monitor communications in the sense that, whatever messages are being sent, that are calculated to create discord, we pay close attention. And these are sent on open networks and are accessible for us to see. I will not say anything further than that it is in our interest to monitor and to take action.
Meantime, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett is to travel to North America and Europe this weekend to quell any fallout from the decision to impose the state of emergency in the parish where the tourist capital Montego Bay is located. He told a news conference that the authorities have already developed a comprehensive program with partners from the three major markets, the United States, Canada and the United Kingdom. Bartlett said the concern is about future bookings, but he sought to assure that Jamaica would continue its aggressive public relations campaign to press home the point that Jamaica is being made safer. Still to come in Caribbean Newsline, a civil rights group sues over the U.S. president's decision to rescind protected status for Haitians. The details after the break.
Did you know that a strategy has been developed to help improve the region's education and human resources?
You didn't? Well, the HID strategy, as it is called, will guide CARICOM in how it delivers quality education and training to the people of the region.
The strategy has been crafted by a group of experts called the HRD Commission.
Consultations have been done across the region to get your input.
Do you know that none of us will be left behind?
The HRD strategy is important to all of us, students, parents, and employers. It will prepare the region, especially the youth, for the 21st century economy and society.
The HRD strategy, unlocking Caribbean human potential.
I wonder when you were approached to take on the position as interim president, whether the politics was something that you were worried about, and what is your philosophy about handling things like that?
The search process was very rigorous, and it's one that even if I was not the successful candidate, I would have been very proud of as a Howard alum.
The largest and oldest civil rights organization in the United States has filed a racial discrimination lawsuit over the government's decision to rescind temporary protected status for Haitian immigrants. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, argued in the lawsuit filed on Wednesday that the move discriminates against immigrants of color. The TPS covers immigrants in the U.S. who are temporarily unable to return to their countries of origin because of safety concerns or other issues. Haitians gained the status after a 7.0 magnitude earthquake devastated the country in January 2010. But last November, the Donald Trump administration announced it would not renew that status when it expires next year. The lawsuit filed on behalf of the NAACP and its Haitian members asked the court to void the decision and reinstate the status. It said every step taken by the Department of Homeland Security to reach the decision was calculated, determined and intentional discrimination against Haitian immigrants and was far from a rational and fact-based determination. The suit also references derogatory comments President Donald Trump allegedly used during a closed-door meeting on immigration about Haiti and people from that CARICOM nation. The Ministry of Health in Antigua and Barbuda is investigating a suspected case of measles imported into the country by a visitor from the United Kingdom. According to Chief Medical Officer Dr. Rhonda Seeley-Thomas, the suspected case was reported by the doctor who treated the patient. She said the patient has been isolated and those who traveled with her will be quarantined and monitored to see whether they were also affected. The Health Ministry will also ensure that they are properly vaccinated as the ministry awaits laboratory confirmation of the highly contagious disease. In 2016, the region of the Americas, which includes Antigua and Barbuda, was certified as being free of measles. Dr. Seeley-Thomas says residents who can help the country retain its measles-free status by ensuring that they are properly vaccinated. Well, following the announcement in Antigua and Barbuda, the Health Ministry in St. Kitts and Nevis issued an alert calling on citizens to take the necessary precautions to avoid in-country transmission of the virus. In a statement released on Thursday, the ministry called on parents to ensure that they and their children are vaccinated against the virus. They have also been advised to visit their health clinics if they have any symptoms. Measles is characterized by high fever, cough, runny nose, and a red rash which starts on the face and spreads to the body. It is spread through coughing and sneezing. It's been more than a year since the Bahamas was struck by Hurricane Matthew, but thousands of homes still need repairs. The government has been providing financial assistance for homeowners, particularly those whose homes are not insured. Those efforts are now being reassessed and stipulations added for the people requesting the assistance. We get more in this report from ZNS Network News.
Hurricane Matthew put a beating on the Bahamas in 2016. It left extensive damage to residential homes across his country. The government has already shelled out hundreds of thousands of dollars on repairs. Director of Public Works Melanie Roach gave us an update on her team's efforts to repair homes so far.
We've done well over 1,000 home repairs already, and close to 700 persons have gotten vouchers for materials to do repairs to their homes. And we still have quite a few outstanding. In Grand Bahama, there's probably about 3,000 to 4,000 outstanding. Yes, in New Providence, we probably have about 1,500. And in Andros and the Berry Islands, we probably have about another 400 to 500. So what we've been doing is, the hurricane has been over a year. We've been going out, our technical teams have been going out to do reassessments to make sure that in some cases, we're finding that the damage has actually increased.
Additionally, Roach says a new system is now in place and qualified homeowners will receive $4,000 for repairs, but she says they must meet this criteria first.
The home must be owner-occupied, so the owner must be actually living in the home. There must be no insurance on the home for hurricane repairs. So owner-occupied, no insurance. The owner must be a Bahamian citizen, and they have to provide proof of that. So we accept either a passport or a voter's card. So once we clear that hurdle, then they actually have to prove that they own the home.
After conducting inspections, a standard unit rate was established for materials and labor for New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Andros. Roach says technical teams are now in the process of preparing schedules to start more repairs.
If the labor and materials are less than $4,000, they will get that full amount. If the labor and materials are more than $4,000, then they will just get a check for $4,000. If the materials alone are more than $4,000, they still will only get a check for $4,000.
Meanwhile, Roach says a team from the National Recovery and Reconstruction Unit is in its final phase of construction of 9 homes destroyed by Hurricane Joaquin in Long Island, Rum Cay, and San Salvador. After the final inspection next week, those homeowners will be move-in ready.
And ahead in Newsline Sports, several West Indies players opt out of selection for the next ICC World Cup qualifier. Stay with us. Sport is next.
Did you know that a strategy has been developed to help improve the region's education and human resources?
You didn't? Well, the HID strategy, as it is called, will guide CARICOM in how it delivers quality education and training to the people of the region.
The strategy has been crafted by a group of experts called the HRD Commission.
Consultations have been done across the region to get your input.
Do you know that none of us will be left behind?
The HRD strategy is important to all of us, students, parents, and employers. It will prepare the region, especially the youth, for the 21st century economy and society.
The HRD strategy, unlocking Caribbean human potential.
From 1950, beauty pageants have been an integral part of carnival celebrations in St. Lucia. The format has evolved. The ladies have gotten darker and further removed from the city. The prizes have improved from a check for $100 to university scholarships. Yet the role of the chaperone has forever been present. The dressmakers and costume designers are revered.
I've been speaking with different groups, different demographics as far as kids, the youth, the administration, the teachers of the youth, different corporations and such to be able to bring inspiration, help them find their passion to be able to be successful in whatever they do and help them enjoy living life to the fullest for the most part and not be afraid to take risks and fail and learn from their failures and to progress from that. And you're basically not going to enjoy what you're doing until you figure out what you actually enjoy.
West Indies are likely to be under strength for the all-important ICC World Cup qualifiers, with several players opting out of selection for the upcoming one-day tournament in Zimbabwe. The Trinidad Express newspaper reported Thursday that up to 5 players could miss the March 4th to 25th campaign after opting to play in the Pakistan Super League, the PSL, which bowls off February 22nd. Several of the Caribbean men are expected to turn out for various franchises in the PSL, including Kieron Pollard, Sunil Narayan, Andre Russell, Darren Bravo, Dwayne Bravo, Evan Lewis and Carlos Brathwaite. Cricket West Indies Chief Executive Officer Johnny Graves said he, Director of the Cricket Jimmy Adams and Chief Selector Courtney Brown had discussed the matter with the players in question but had been unable to reach a solution. CWI are desperate to have their best squad available as they look to dominate the ICC World Cup qualifiers and secure one of the 2 remaining berths for the 2019 showpiece in England. They were forced into the qualifying tournament after failing to make the top 8 in the ICC one-day rankings by the September 30th cutoff date last year. The Windies have been installed in Group A alongside Ireland, the Netherlands, Papua New Guinea and the winner of February's ICC World Cricket League Division 2 tournament, which involves Canada, Kenya, Namibia, Nepal, Oman and the United Arab Emirates. Staying with cricket, regional 4-day champions Guyana Jaguars are setting their sights on the gold in the upcoming Super 50 tournament. The 7-time champs have not won the limited overs game since 2005, although they came close to a title shot when they faced Trinidad and Tobago in the finals 10 years later. They will do battle in Group B with Jamaica Scorpions, Leeward Islands Hurricanes, the United States and Kent at the Coolidge Cricket Ground in Antigua. Head coach Isan Crandon says they are confident about doing the double in 2018.
But you know, it's all about us planning well and executing our plans well. We did not, you know, it has eluded us for over a decade now, and we are desperate to do the double, but we try to go through the process and do our necessary what we need to do to win it, take it one game at a time. Obviously, we start our preparations very soon. Well, it already started, but we intensify it a little bit more and try and push in the fine work and get a couple of games in.
Crandon explained why he expects a good showing from the side in this tournament.
And we'll try and bring this back home to Guyana. I think we stand a very good chance. We have a very balanced team with youth and experience, and the good thing, most of the guys in the team been playing cricket, and they're playing first-class cricket. So most of them been around, so they know they're able to make the transition from 40 to 50 over cricket. So I'm very confident, and hopefully we'll bring it home. It's been a long time. It's long overdue now.
Switching sports now, Trinidad and Tobago's football head coach Jamal Shabazz is still proud of his girls' performance in the CONCACAF Women's Championship. And this is despite them losing all 3 of their matches and being eliminated from the tournament. Shabazz sees the experience as a major learning curve for the team.
The results might not have been what he expected, but National U20 Women's football coach Jamal Shabazz is still happy with the effort he got from his young charges, especially from game to game as the tournament went along. This is despite the team seemingly incapable of holding on to a lead despite scoring first in all 3 matches they played.
I think the teams in this competition has shown a higher level of intensity than our team. And it's something we've got to develop in the female game to be a lot more intense, to be able to make more football actions. But I think that also we've been very unfortunate with some decisions that, you know, could have, you know, it's so unfortunate. You know, I feel sorry for my young ladies.
And despite the disappointment of not winning a single game and failing to qualify for the semi-finals at least, he was high in praise for the explosives, Denencia Prince.
She's had some explosive moments. You can see a player who is ready with a lot more fitness and a higher level of fitness achieved by her. She's a player ready to graduate to the senior team. You know, and from this exercise we see about 5, 6 of them who we can bring to the senior level. So at least, you know, we can see that you know, the exercise is a good one for us.
And finally, the Cayman Islands government has honored 316 sporting heroes for their contributions in various sporting disciplines. The awardees, who included a former premier, were recognized on Monday as the island celebrated National Heroes Day. Cayman 27's Jordan Amini tells us more.
The contributions of generations of sports leaders, athletes, and coaches were honored at Monday's National Heroes Day.
The Cayman Islands has a long and proud history of achievements in sports, from the bicycle races and sailing regattas initiated by former Commissioners Hearst and Cardinal in the early 1900s, and the introduction of netball on grass courts in 1955.
Sports Minister, the Honorable Juliana O'Connor-Connolly, taking a moment to honor one of Cayman's longest-standing contributors to athletics.
One such person, and to me, my hero, Coach Jerry Harper. Thank you. So well deserving.
316 individuals were honored for their contributions to sports in Cayman. 9 early pioneers included the likes of Speaker of the House, the Honorable McKeeva Bush. 79 pioneer awardees included groups such as these.
Triple C Butterflies.
26 emerging pioneers included awardees such as Olympic hurdler Ronald Forbes, and a whopping 168 awardees made up the category of long service.
And that's the sport. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Again, the major development of this day, 5% pay increase for public servants in Antigua and Barbuda as the government presents its 2018 budget. And tonight, the team at the Caribbean Newsline, that's the team that present the sports, prepare the sports for you and the news every evening, would like to say thank you to all our special viewers around the region and in the diaspora. We thank you for all the mail that you send us, but tonight we want to say thank you to this person and just have a little fun with the person who sent us this season's greeting Christmas card that we received today, Thursday. There's a little note in it wanting to know how tall I am. I'll leave that for you to guess. Thanks again. Have a good night.